Pleasant day to each and every one of you. So today we're going to discuss about the mechanisms of evolution, which is one of the topic that we need to discuss for us to be able to have an in-depth understanding about evolution. So these are our objectives for today. Number one is to describe natural selection of survival of the fittest. Second, discuss the different modes of natural selection. And third is to explain the mechanism that drive changes in population across generations. So in the topic of evolution, since day one, we often use the term survival of the fittest. But when we talk about biology, no, it is high time for us to define what the survival of the fittest means. In natural selection can be transcribed as survival of the fittest. So this is the thing that we always use, no, in evolutionary perspective. No, but in evolutionary sense, no, fitness refers to an organism's genetic contribution to the next generation. Meaning, when we talk about survival of the fittest, it's not always the biggest, the smartest, nor the one that have a greater muscle mass, because successful reproduction is one of the way for an organism to perpetuate its genes. Fitness depends on the ability to survive just long enough to reproduce. Ulitin natin na pag pinag-uusapan natin yung survival of the fittest, we are referring to ability to reproduce. We are not looking for the one that lives and thrive on the earth for like a millennium or hundred of years. We are referring to ability to reproduce because for those organisms to be considered as fit, they have to pass down the lineage of their genetics. No, if they fail to do so, the long run. By itself, survival is not just enough. Fitness is a reproductive by and okay, we have points already, which among the following organism is said to be more fitter than the other. We have a redwood, which has a reproductive success rate that may take centuries, and also we have a annual plant that may take just a few weeks. In evolutionary perspective, regardless of the time or chronicity that these two organisms or species have when it comes to reproduction, both of them are considered fit because they can pass down the lineage and next generation to come may adapt to the or, or evolve in the long run. Next one, we have a male praying mantis and also a female praying mantis. So after copulation or sexual interaction of these two, male impregnating the semen to the female now eats the head of the female praying, it's the head of the male praying mantis. So it provides nourishment for growing this picture showcase how does the male praying mantis or the praying mantis species proliferate itself by doing this adaptive behavior, no? So one of the most important thing that we also need to talk about in this presentation is the three modes of natural selection. For us to be able to understand all of these three modes of natural selection, such as directional, disruptive, and stabilizing, we have to use graph for it to be interpreted in different scenarios. So first and foremost, we have directional. When we talk about directional, there is one extreme phenotype that is considered to be fittest, and this one's extreme phenotype is one that is adaptive to the environment. So if we're going to look at the diagram in here, no, the left side of the picture signifies the population of the moth and its color. So the x-axis signifies the pigment of the color, or the pigment or the color, and then the y-axis signifies the population. So when we have an increase in population, therefore the y-axis also increases. Due to the different changes in the habitat or natural selection, no, times changes, habitat changes, tree darkens. So what do you think will happen? In the span of time, no, the allele frequency or the phenotype of dark color will also increases. This is due to the adaptation within the environment. So what do you think are the primary function or reason why there are darkening of the tree bark? No, there can be a pollution, no, that harms the tree. And alongside with it, the tree adapts, and also the species that lives within the tree also adapts. And as you can see, the allele frequency or the population of medium to dark allele or frequency or pwedeng skewed to the right. Okay, so that is the diagram for the directional. Next one, we have the disruptive. So based on the diagram, we can see that before the change in habitat, the normal distribution curve is manifested by the population of the snail. No? There are color pigment of the snail, and also there is an increase of number in medium. We can infer that the environment back then was favored by the medium snail. No? Habitats change, there's a mix of light and dark color, and then again, the snail needs to adapt to it. So this is an example of disruptive mode of natural selection. When we talk about disruptive, there are two or more extreme phenotypes that are considered to be fitter than the intermediate phenotype. So if we're going to look at the diagram, it looks like a letter M diagram. Now there are an increase in allele frequency or population of the light and dark snail. This is due to the adaptation that needs to be done by the snail within the environment. Since we have mentioned earlier that there's a change in habitat, there's an increase of light and dark rocks. Therefore, the extreme phenotypes of the both end of the spectrum increase the population. In this example, we have the increase of light and dark snail. Okay? So in this example of disruptive, there's an increase of variation because different allele frequency, specifically the both end of the spectrum, increases. Unlike disruptive that only favors one extreme phenotype. Okay? For the last one, we have the stabilizing, which variation in population, just like in directional, because there is only one phenotype that is favorable within the environment. It is most common in the stable and changing environment. In our example, the graph showcase the uh, different birth weight, no, or sizes of the baby or youngling, no, from small, medium to large. As you can see, the medium one are the one that is said to be more favorable or optimal or intermediate. Why? Because having a small or large body or contribute necessarily mean that you are healthy. But specifically dun sa may large, no? They can acquire different ailments and diseases. So the most optimal phenotype is said to be the medium or yung sakto lamang. So again, if you're going to recall, there are three types or modes of natural selection, namely the directional, the disruptive, and stabilizing. When we talk about directional, there is one extreme phenotype that is favored. The graph looks like this one, skewed to the left or skewed to the right. When we talk about disruptive, there are two extreme phenotypes that are considered to be fitter, and the graph looks like this one or parang letter M. When we talk about stabilizing, there is one extreme phenotype that is considered to be optimal or intermediate phenotype. After the graph, we can see that it looks like a normal bell curve shape that you can use in your stats, or you are familiar with stats when you were in your grade 11 mathematics. Okay? So these are the activity that we have done face to face. So now, let us talk about again the evolution, and let us focus on the mechanisms of evolution. We are done with the three modes of natural selection. Now let us talk about the evolution. We were able to define it earlier, and we have mentioned that fitness depends on the ability to survive just long enough to reproduce. But we also have to make mention of the count is also related to mechanisms of evolution. No, actually there are four mechanisms of evolution, namely the mutation, the non-random mating, gene flow, and genetic drift. But we also need to realize that different organism or species have their own different ways to reproduce. One of the concept that I want to introduce to you is the term sexual dimorphism. When we encounter the prefix di, it means two, and morph means form or structure. So sexual dimorphism is the difference in appearance between male and female species. In our example, we have the peacock and also the peahen. The peacock has a vibrant color that used to attract mate also. Okay? So another example is in Kingdom Animalia, we have lion. No? Lion used to have a large mane to cement dominance and also for attraction of the mate. And the lioness do not contain a mane. If we're going to contextualize it in human, no, male and female also differ when it comes to structure. Male have a more muscular or has a high density of muscle compared to female. Female also have a larger breast and also hips are reproductive purposes. Okay? So, hips for carrying of the larger screen. So there are varieties of examples for sexual dimorphism, and it's up to you to search it on the internet for you to be able to be familiarized with them. Also, sexual selection is a type of natural selection resulting from variation in ability to obtain. So sexual selection directly influences the reproductive success. We are very much aware that when we talk about sexual selection, we are referring to the capability or compatibility rather of the said species. For example, we have here the two big ram that is headbutting with each other, and as you can see, it uses the horn, no, for it to be able to settle the rating, the ritual for mating. So whoever emerge victorious will have the right to mate with a female ram. Same goes with the male ox beetle, which is fighting in the mating season. You have to remember that the member of one sex, usually male, compete among themselves for access to opposite sex. For them to have the ability to mate or pass down the lineage of their genetics, they have to settle it head on, face to face, literally. Okay? So, just like what I have mentioned, let us now focus on the mechanisms of evolution. There are four mechanisms of evolution. No? Alongside natural selection, evolution occurs in several different ways, one of which is mutation. A change in the organism DNA sequence is said to be mutation. When there's a new allele to a population, that is also considered as a mutation. We have to realize that mutation, for it to be considered as a mechanism of evolution, needs to be manifested by the succeeding offspring. Hindi pwedeng isang organism lang yung nag-manifest ng different allele. That is not considered as mechanism of evolution when we talk about mutation. Again, for example, we can see here there's a new color of petal, which is yellow. For it to be considered as mechanisms of evolution, the said trait or allele needs to be manifested by the succeeding offspring or generation. So, ibig sabihin, para masabing nag-evolve, no? Yung next offspring ng species ng flower na ito dapat meron ulit yellow. So that is mutation. A mutation affects evolution only if subsequent generation can inherit it just like what I mentioned. So evolution can be harmful, beneficial, and neutral depending on the species. There are organisms that used to have a mutation, for example, trisomy 21, wherein there's a extra chromosome on the 21st chromosome for human. So there are different characteristics physically, mentally, and behaviorally that Down syndrome person or people do have, no? So they have intellectual disability, they are delayed, no? And quote unquote, we refer to them as retarded. But again, we do not need to use that term anymore for us to be politically correct. Going back to person with Down syndrome, they also have different physical abilities or structure that is prominent to them. Specifically, the face. Tama ba? If you encounter a person with Down syndrome, they are most likely look alike with each other. And there are deficiency, no? Or problem with the face structure. The tendency is they are having a difficulty communicating with other people. So that is a type of mutation that is said to be harmful. Another example is polydactylity, wherein you have an extra phalanges or finger within your limbs or sa kamay o sa paa. So that is said to be neutral naman kasi regardless if you have an extra phalanges or digits within your hands or feet, wala namang mangyari sa iyo or hindi naman siya uh, magiging harmful or beneficial. So we have mutation. Another example of mutation is the mutation of the prokaryotic cell. Most often, the example that we have are in human, animal, plants. Now let us contextualize it in prokaryotic cell. For example, we have here the bacteria that have a mutation that happens. Ano? Mutation occurs, as you can see, the red one represent the new allele that has been manifested by the said bacteria. Times change, circumstances change, this new allele has been passed down by the uh, uh, new allele. So what do you see, or what can you see? There are new colony of red bacteria And also, meron naman dun sa color green. So, if this red bacteria can inherit the said new allele, nagkakaroon ito ng manifestation sa kanilang ability to adapt. For example, the said allele is antibiotic resistance. For example, specific you subjected specific bacteria to antibiotic, di sila agad mamamatay, no? Kasi nga, meron silang specific na panglaban doon sa antibiotic. So, ganun po nangyari yung mutation sa prokaryotic cell. Okay? Another thing, when we talk about mechanisms of evolution, we are done with mutation. Second is about non-random mating. So, non-random mating within the organism is categorized into two, which are assortative or disassortative mating or disassortative mating. When we talk about assortative, there are preference for similar genotype or phenotype. In our example, there are two black beetle that are mating or considered mating and two white phenotypes of the beetle. So they are attracted to each other. No? If you're going to contextualize it in human perspective, no? For example, there's a male that is tall when it comes to stature and is attracted to a female that is tall, assortative mating. Another example is if you're familiar with the royal blood or family, there are tendency wherein yung mga magkakamag-anak is yung mga nag-aasawahan, no? For them, it is their way for them to preserve the lineage or bloodline. But if we're going to talk about evolution and biology, this is very incorrect way, no, for you to be able to breed. Why? Because technically, when you are relatives, no, for example, first cousin or whatsoever, you have almost similar genes or genetics, tama ba? And when we talk about evolution, when you have similar genes, there are tendency wherein recessive traits will be manifested by your offspring. Meaning, for example, yung mga royal blood, halimbawa, yung tito at saka yung anak na babae nag-aasawahan para ma-maintain yung bloodline. Ano nangyari? Nagmamanifest yung bloodline na recessive. Or usually, the recessive trait kasi na meron ang mga tao ay harmful when it comes to mutation. So what happened? The unfavorable genes are manifested by the offspring kaya nagkakaroon ng deficiency yung mga royal family. So that is an example of assortative. Bakit po siya assortative mating? Because they have same genotypes. Or also they can have same phenotype. For example, they have same red hair color, no, and whatsoever. Next one, we have the disassortative mating, which means the preference for the different genotypes and phenotypes. So in our example kanina, in the beetle, we have the black and white one. They have different phenotypes. And in the picture, we can see that there have different genotypes. Homozygous capital A, black beetle, is attracted A, small letter A is attracted to each other. So nakikita natin may magkaibang genotype, no? Yung capital A, small letter A, and also different phenotypes, which are black and white. Non-random mating won't make allele frequency in a population change by itself. True, though it can alter genotype frequency. So there can see happen physically. No? So we have the non-random mating. Pag sinabi natin non-random, there are criteria that we need to select for it to be considered as mating. Another topic that you also might be wondering or ask, sir, can be considered a male to male or female to male mating? If we're going to define what mating is, there is an involved of male and female cell, specifically the egg cell and the sperm cell. But if we're talking about this, no, example po ba yung male and male na for assortative mating? Ang sagot po ay hindi po. In biology and ecological perspective or evolution, we have to realize that assortative mating is all about similar genotype and phenotype. That is checked. But when we talk about mating, kailangan may offspring na ma-produce. Whether we like it or not, the reality is male and male cannot produce another offspring. That is reality. But again, when we talk about humanities, Soji and everything, different things might play a role. Tama ba? So we respect different preferences. But again, in biology or in evolution, it is high time for us to realize that those are our rules. Okay? So yun. Another thing about mechanisms of evolution is what we call the gene flow. A population may gain or lose allele when a fertile individual move in or out of the population or gametes. So for example, we have a black beetle that has a dominant trait of capital letter A or black. When it moves and migrates to different location, lack of resources, walang pagkain, lack of territory, sobrang dami ng tao doon at di na kaya niyang, wala na siyang space, lack of mate, baka lahat sila meron ng partner, so ang tendency is, it will create to different location wherein it can get what it needed for the beaten. So what are the tendencies? Sabi dito, a population may gain or lose allele. If, for example, we mate this capital letter A dominant homozygous beetle to this one, what do you think will happen? The offspring will produce a color black beetle. Why? Because it has an allele of capital letter A na dominant. When it mates to another one, there is an 100% that the offspring will yield black heterozygous capital A small letter A. Okay? Another example of gene flow is that when a pollen that is located in specific location is carried by different agents like water, ano pa, air, birds and birds and animals, no, nagkakaroon ng pagpapalit ng location from one place to the another, and then another gene flow might be manifested to it. Okay? Last example is for little human, no? There's a migration that happened. For example, to a colder region, ang nangyari, you migrate to different location, and anong meron? Syempre, you carry the genes of being a Filipino. When you mate and find your mate to the different location, for example, in Canada, kasi malamig doon, no? Mapapasa yung gene. Nagkakaroon ng variation of allele, nagkakaroon ng gain or increase of variation because you will mate to Canadian, for example, Canadian citizen. No? So that are the tendency or examples of gene. Last one, we have the genetic drift. It's a change in allele frequency that occurs purely by chance. Again, the different instances that exhibit genetic drift are, ano yung mga chances na yun? O, ayan nga, for example, napatay, natapakan ng tao, na insecticide, nagkaroon ng volcanic, ano pa, binaha, na isang species, nagkaroon these are purely by chances. Relation with diversity, since a population decreases the number of the species, therefore, there are alleles that are eliminated alongside with it. Okay? Change in allele frequency occur randomly because, as you can see, this is by chance only, as if the frequency were drifted from their values. In our example, we have a ratio of 5 to 5, blue to red beetle. Natural selection happens, no? Ang nangyari, napatay yung 4 na blue bug. So, what is the new ratio? 5:1. 5 red, 1 blue. And then they reproduce. And then, as you can see, the allele frequency of the red increases, no? Naging 10:2 na yung ratio natin. And again, nagkakaroon tayo ng different when it comes to the allele frequency of the population. Another example, if we're going to look another example of genetic drift, let us assume that there are 10 beetle, black and white. So this 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, hindi nakapaloob dun sa encircle, ay subjected to natural selection. Pwedeng natapakan, na insecticide, kinain ng bird, and whatsoever. Again, when we talk about genetic drift, this is by purely chance. The frequency that we have in here is meron 3:7. Only the offspring. So itong tatlong ito, when they reproduce, the next generation is the frequency of dominant A is 0 and the frequency of recessive A is said to be 1. So in this example, we can see that there are decrease of allele. In our example na wala yung color black kasi nga they become subjected to natural selection. Also, it is important to note that genetic drift has two categories or example, no? Namely the founder's effect and also the bottleneck. When we talk about the genetic drift founder effect, it occurs when a small group of individuals leave its home population and establish a new isolated settlement. When we talk about founder, no, ito yung una na nagtatag ng population from one place to the another. Kaya nga founder, di ba? Or foundation day, yung isang establishmento or lugar. Okay? So if we're going to look at this one, this is the originating population. As you can see, the ancestral population or frequency is 50-50, no? The red one and the green one is 50-50. Now, genetic drift happens, no? Nagkaroon ng pagbabago sa environment or habitat na subject to death yung iba or naglipat sila ng ibang location. Ano makikita natin? This founding population or the founder's effect, this founder population will now settle for different location. As you can see, these different generations showcase the ratio of red is to green. So after quite some time, after 5 generations, we can see that there's an increase of red allele, no? And then the green one is said to be diminished. So in this example, we can say maybe that the red one is said to be dominant, no? Or pwede rin naman the red characteristic of color is said to be more adaptable within the environment. And the green one is not favorable kaya kakaroon ng increase of the allele of the red one. Again, when we talk about founder's effect, we are referring to the founder effect because they become a founder of the new population. When we talk about genetic drift bottleneck, where the term itself bottleneck, we can see it located at the neck of the bottle. And original population, kung makikita natin yung bote, bottleneck event happen again, pwedeng nagkaroon ng tsunami, ano pa, nagkaroon ng volcanic eruption, napatay yung species nila, ano pa, nagkaroon ng stampede, hindi nakasurvive yung iba, and whatsoever. Again, since genetic drift is by chance, nagkaroon ng pagkamatay ng ibang species. And then the survival population, as you can see in our example, is the blue one and the white one. How about the orange one, no? Since nagkaroon ng bottleneck, no, at ito na nakasurvive, there are tendency that those traits will not be manifested, no? Or pwede namang naging recessive din lang sila along the way. Bottleneck effect is the population size drop rapidly over a short period. The bottleneck randomly eliminate many alleles that were present in the larger population. In our example, the orange one is not to look at the difference of the founder effect and also the bottleneck, the start population or colony of founder is small. They become large as they try to repopulate and then they start to repopulate again. When it comes to evolution, founder effect has a small colony established and it propagates. And then pag bottleneck naman, large colony is reduced to small colony due to external event which then propagated or dumami na sila. The most common cause of the founder effect is the separation of colony from original population with subsequent colonies and result of fragmentation in introduction of small number of colonies into a new niche, okay, or new environment. And then the bottleneck naman, most common cause is the destruction of variation leading to selection of few colonies which survive the disaster. Again, the disaster can be in varieties of forms, just like what we have mentioned earlier. The result of a selection event. And again, in founder's effect, the fitness of the progeny or the offspring is said to be no change. Bakit po walang pagbabago? Because the founder effect, the population of the founding population is similar pa lang naman din doon sa parent population. So kung kung red at saka red at saka violet ang meron sa characteristic na yun, no? Ng increase of diversity. Similar pa lang or similar na lang din yung magiging offspring na meron doon. no? Walang pagbabago sa progeny or walang pagbabago sa offspring. On the other hand, in bottleneck, what do you think will happen? If the original population have a red, green, and orange allele, what can you see, no? After bottleneck, nagkaroon ng surviving population yung orange at saka yung green. There will come a time that when they repopulate or propagate again, there can be an evolve of the new progeny or species because they adapted to the environment. Second, pwedeng bumalik yung original population na allele which is yung red one kapag nagkaroon nga ng repopulation. Baka kasi recessive trait ito or pwede rin namang dominant and then after propagation ay dumami. Okay? So that would be all for this discussion. I hope you will be able to read so you can pass examination. That would be all. Thank you.